So I just realized a constraint that I've been unconsciously putting on myself when I write an adventure. I'm writing a little adventure where the people get shipwrecked and captured by natives, and they get put through trials. Natives are turning bamboo wheels, and like spikes are coming out, and like a cage opens and monsters come out. One of those where you have to keep moving because there's a wall of spike, but there's like lava traps in the floor. Trials. And I kept thinking, this would also be an interesting opportunity for one or some of the party members to have been singled out, like you're gonna do these trials in her honor for mysterious native reasons of their own. And kept thinking about it, And I realized I wasn't letting myself do that because everyone knows diplomacy scenes take way less time than combat scenes. The person in the diplomacy position would have nothing to do. And that's when I realized, if your combat scenes are taking that much more time than diplomacy scenes, you're doing combat scenes wrong. Okay, you might not be doing them necessarily wrong, but why is it that combat scenes have to take up so much of the game? Everybody wants cool set pieces, challenging enemies, cool stunts, move on to the next thing. Does anybody really want to wait through hours of, no, I know the rules in here, so let me find it. You roll your dice, and you miss. Well, no damage done that round, looks like it's your turn. What if combat was only 3 rounds? Not standard combat rounds, but like 3 sequences. You give the players a situation, and they take 1 action, make 1 attack, or roll 1 skill, give 1 speech, and you say how that changed the situation, and then you give them a new situation. And it just goes back and forth like that. Do the rolls, don't do away with your dice. Just let each roll have a very general narrative effect. If somebody says, I cause a diversion by lighting this barrel of ale on fire, roll for how much damage it does to the surrounding area, if that's in the game system you're using, and then have utter chaos ensue. The whole scene is now diversioned. Maybe your archer character says, I shoot the chief goblin to dishearten his battalion, and you have him roll intimidate. Don't mess around with the archery roll. What are you doing? The point of this roll wasn't to see whether he can make a shot. The point of this roll is to see whether he can disrupt an entire unit with 1 shot. That's an intimidation stunt. Just assume he can hit his mark. He's the archer. And he shoots the leader off of his armored warthog, and the whole company is routed. And all my skill rolls are about diversionary tactics for some reason tonight. I'm gonna use the relevant bull rush skill in this game to bull rush the enemy. And you narrate how this punctures the first line, and you burst right through to the cluster of generals and in the center of it, and one of them gets thrown from his horse, and he stands up very indignant and pulls out this huge crooked sword, and the other generals calmly gather around, and you look into each other's eyes with a warrior's glance that means, let's go. And you narrate all that from 1 roll. Because when he bull rushed the front line, was he trying to like do D4 plus 2 points of stun damage to enemy soldiers in this and adjacent hexes? No, he was trying to take the action scene in whatever cool direction bull rush type characters take it. He's trying to be the kind of character who bull rushes. So let his roll do that. I mean, most other skill rolls stand for a large period of time. Research, streetwise, tracking, lockpicking, haggling. A roll in one of those skills translates to a whole movie scene, or even a montage. But we've been trained by some games to think that combat rolls have to take up an infinitesimal amount of time. But the more play time that combat takes up, the more spotlight time is on combat-oriented characters. Don't let those characters be cooler than the other ones. And, circling back to the beginning of this video, you'll be able to put together scenes that might not work so well together otherwise. So now the player who's left out of the fray, or sneaks around the fray to do something else, isn't going to get robbed of the spotlight. Now, some games are written like this, but I think you could adapt any game to it. Have you had good experiences doing fluid combat rounds or imposing them on a game that doesn't otherwise call for them? Let me know in the comments, I will respond. If you like this video, check out the rest of my channel. Thank you for watching.